When the critic score on Rotten Tomatoes came in at 39%, I thought there's no way it's that bad. This is Captain America we're talking about. And Anthony Mackie is a solid actor. He's a charismatic guy. The critics must be all wrong again. Well, they're not. This movie kind of stinks, which is a bummer because even though I've rooted against the MCU in the past, I did not want this movie to fail. I mean, if I wanted a Captain America movie to fail, would I have made this? I don't think so. Shout out to Brad. It's a pretty widely accepted belief that Marvel's quality has declined since the end of Phase 3 and the closing of the Infinity Saga with Endgame, and that's a sentiment I've shared. It's been a pretty mixed bag. Some movies have been really good, like Guardians Volume 3 and Deadpool and Wolverine. Some, though, have been really bad, like Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness or Thor Love and Thunder. And then there's a handful that I haven't even cared to see. And compared with the Infinity Saga, it's felt really unfocused when it comes to tying all the movies together. So Captain America Brave New World felt like the start of something new, like it would get things back on track in terms of storytelling. I know it's not technically the beginning of a new phase, it's actually the end of Phase 5, but because Captain America is such an important hero for the MCU and the mantle is being passed from Steve Rogers to Sam Wilson, Anthony Mackie, it felt significant. The stakes for Marvel were pretty high with this one, but they totally disappointed. For starters, this movie's plot heavily revolves around the Incredible Hulk movie from 2008. I have no idea why they thought making Captain America so beholden to a 17-year-old movie that isn't especially beloved was a good idea. Like, who really cares about that movie? And this is Captain America, not Hulk. So making this one about the Hulk, especially the Red Hulk, was a red flag. Now, I suppose they could have told a good story that tied into the Incredible Hulk, even though that's a weird choice, but the plot of Brave New World is just super convoluted. Maybe if I had just watched The Incredible Hulk or had seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it wouldn't have felt that way, but I didn't, so I was left pretty confused at some times. And they knew most people weren't going to brush up on the Hulk, or that plenty of viewers hadn't watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So to make their convoluted plot understandable, they constantly had characters explaining things to each other in a way that's clearly just exposition for the audience. Dialogue that no one in real life would actually say. It's super clunky and it happens a lot. Because the plot is so packed, there's barely any room for character development. I mean, they tried, but every scene that was supposed to carry some emotional depth just didn't land because the movie was too busy dragging us from point A to point B to do any foreshadowing or building up the characters' inner struggles. For example, there's a moment where Sam, as new Captain America, is talking about the pressure of stepping into Steve Rogers' shoes. But it didn't land for me because up until that point, he'd never expressed any self-doubt. And no other characters, or really the public, doubted him either, except maybe Thunderbolt Ross.
You're not Steve Rogers.
And by the way, Harrison Ford is terrible in this movie. It's really sad and a shame and honestly just kind of annoying that Marvel decided to just cut Harrison Ford this big check just for his name recognition when anyone could have told you that he was not going to care about this movie one bit and was just totally going to phone in his performance. So it was so stupid that they did that. Where was I? Yeah, Sam's self-doubt. He was portrayed as pretty confident the whole movie, and then out of nowhere we have this scene where he confides in someone about feeling the weight of the role. There was no build-up for that scene, so it didn't move me at all. And same with his sidekick, Joaquin. Something happens to him, and Sam is really worried about him, which of course makes sense on paper. Like, why wouldn't you care about, your friend who looks up to you? But their relationship in the movie is so surface level that it just didn't hit emotionally. You understand that you should feel something, but I didn't, and that's a bummer. The one thing this movie does right is the action. The big set pieces and the fight scenes aren't the best Marvel has ever done, but they're solid. They do some cool stuff with Sam's winged suit and the Captain America shield. There's a really fun dogfight scene where he's using both while going up against enemy aircraft, and Joaquin can fly too, so those moments stood out. And the fight with Red Hulk, yeah, it was pretty cool because Red Hulk is cool. It's not that deep. I don't think it concludes all that well, but the fight itself isn't bad. So if I had to say one moderately nice thing about Captain America Brave New World, it's that the action scenes are pretty satisfying. But everything else, not so much. I gave this movie 1.5 stars on Letterboxd. Now, maybe I should have seen this coming. Marvel has 3 movies coming out this year, and this one came out first and in February, which is historically a terrible month for movies. Hopefully Marvel gets things back on track with Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, because I'm over my Schadenfreude phase when it comes to the MCU. I don't want them to fail anymore, because the failures of the past clearly didn't stop Marvel from making them. I clearly don't have the discipline to stop seeing them. So let's at least make them good. That's my review. Thanks for watching. I made it a goal this year to release more videos. In the past, I've just done one a year, my year-end list. So I'm already on track to double my output. It's a shame that I had to start with a bad one, but there's plenty of other movies this year coming out that I'm really excited for. So I can't wait to talk about the good ones. See you then.